My name is Sarah Tanno, and I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I'm here because I've been suffering with long-haul COVID for 1.5 years. For me, I live a very busy life where I have to operate at a really high level, very creative job. I'm a makeup artist. And as soon as I realized that my COVID had stuck with me, I was really struggling with really the brain fog is at the top of my mind, because that's the thing that is debilitating for me every single day. It came with really strong headaches and light sensitivity, which made it really hard when I need to be around bright lights. And that kind of just made me feel just sad all the time, because I was so confused as to what was going on with me. And I hadn't really known anyone that was suffering from long haul. So I kind of started to feel crazy and very alone. And I really felt really bad for the people around me, because they had to hear me complain about something that they couldn't see. Because I might look like I feel fine, but I don't. I can't think clearly. I don't feel like myself anymore. And it really started to affect my personality. I used to be so social and fun, and I realized I just was more of a downer, and I have been. That's just not the quality of life or the person I want to be. And I noticed that I changed. I started to become more irritable. I started to not want to be social or go out. I would literally save all my energy for work, and I could still function. My symptoms aren't affecting the fact that I can work or do a task, but it just feels terrible the entire time. I hated it. So I just became kind of obsessed with figuring out who was doing, clinical trials, who was doing treatments, what I can do. I bought every supplement on the planet. I tried everything I could think of. But the truth of it is there's not a lot of information out there. And the clinical trials they have make it virtually impossible to get into at any of the hospitals. They would tell me to get a doctor's note. My doctor's like, you don't have brain fog, you have this. And it was just I was sick of hearing that I was fine when I wasn't. It made me start to really feel sad, and more than anything, it made me feel crazy. Am I just making this up? What is happening? But I knew it. I knew something was so off, and it took probably a full year of just obsessively researching online, talking to people, asking around, and I finally came across Cognitive FX, and that they had worked with some people that had long haul COVID, and I started reading the blogs and stuff, and it sounded so interesting. So I'm like, what is there to lose? I'm just gonna sign up for the consultation and see. And when I explained what I was going through, they said they actually had several patients that had come through, and they've had a lot of success treating long haul COVID just like a concussion, which it was the first time I had ever heard that, or somebody had actually explained it to me, that somebody who suffers from this kind of long haul COVID is a brain injury. And nobody was validating that. But it was a brain injury, and it was very similar to the way somebody with a concussion feels. And she said, as a matter of fact, if I put your scan and someone that has a concussion, even though everybody has different scans, you're gonna have similar problems, and I would treat it the same way. So I found that so fascinating. I thought that it was really smart that they do the scan so they aren't wasting time testing you on a million different areas. They say, oh, this is the part that we need to target that's not firing and working with the rest of her brain. We're gonna hit that area hard, get some things to light up. That made perfect sense to me. What I didn't know is how many areas are connected that I was affected by. So when I got my results, and there's so much of areas that were very, very red, it obviously is scary, but it was very validating for me, because I, for the first time, was I have proof that I am not well. And it just, for the first time, gave me hope. And it felt scary, but at least I knew that there was something wrong, and there was a reason, and that they said they can help me. And I just hope that that was true. As soon as I started getting into the actual activities here, it's that's when I really was oh, I see what you're doing. Some of the games, they were so hard, but I appreciate them, because it really, Monday when I showed up and did all the different kinds of games. They were so hard for me. And like, there was so much fog. It was giving me more and more and more symptoms. So it made me feel worse. You know, it really, truly felt worse all week, which made it really hard to do everything when you have a headache and you're feeling, you know, nauseous and dizzy and you're the light sensitivity and all the things. So I was definitely tested while I was here. And all the therapists were so great, and they constantly are asking you, like, are you okay? How are your symptoms? What is it affected by? You do cardio, like when I did cardio, that was a trigger for me earlier in COVID. And the first couple of days that I did it, I would immediately get a headache, light sensitivity, and I would get nauseous. By, I would say Thursday, I was able to do 5 intervals without a single symptom. And that to me was like the first time I was like, oh my God, something is starting to get better. And it was like nice to see a little improvement. And I mean, every day was kind of hard for different reasons, but Thursday for me, I started to notice that I was getting better at a lot of the games and the tasks and beating previous scores. And not that it's like a game that you're trying to like win at, but I just noticed things were not necessarily getting easy. I would never call anything they do here easy, but I can actually keep up a little bit and I could do them. So it made me excited because I was like, oh, something is firing. There has to be something working. And that was the first time I really felt like hopeful. I don't know, I guess in the beginning, I felt like I would leave on Friday with no symptoms and feel better. And then like halfway through the week, I realized this is a journey that it's not like, you know, I eat healthy for 2 days and tomorrow I'm gonna be skinny. It's like, this is a muscle that I'm working and have to wake up because of my injury, and it's worth it. And I just had to like take a moment and readjust my expectations and know that it doesn't matter what it is, it's worth it. You know, I just wanted to see like a glimmer of hope. And they were very clear about what to expect, that they did tell me before I came that my symptoms would get worse before they get better, especially from the parts of my brain that weren't functioning. They're like, some of it has to like come down to rewire it so everything can come up together. And so it's probably gonna get worse for you. And they're right. So I anticipated that. So when it started happening, my symptoms came back similar to the way that they were in the beginning. It didn't scare me as much because I almost was like, oh, this is part of the healing process. So if it means I'm getting worse, that means better is around the corner. And I just pushed harder and harder. And like a lot of the therapists can tell you, like I was probably annoying because I'm like, no, let's do a couple extra games. Let's do more. Like I wanted the most out of it because I really felt like my time here was like gold and I didn't want to waste a single minute. Today is like Friday, it's my last day. And I woke up today and I still feel I don't feel good. I'll be honest, I don't feel good, but I feel better than I did on Monday. And I have a little bit more energy, which I haven't felt that in a year and a half. Like I don't feel as sluggish. The brain fog is still very strong, but the great news is I got my scan today. I went through that second MRI and I had so much anxiety in that machine because it's a functioning MRI where you have to like take the tests while they're reading your brain. And I took a look at it today and the entire thing was green, which means my brain works. So that was the gift that I needed to leave here with today. I'm so grateful for the doctors here for figuring this out. Like people are so smart. I don't understand like how they would even put like someone who has what I'm going through, even for someone who has a concussion, to figure all this out and put everything together. It's just remarkable to me, but also just how they take it 10 steps further just to make sure not only that you're okay, but they give you so many tools. Like when you leave here, like I don't leave here and I'm good and I'm on my own. Like I have so much homework and so much work to do the next 3 months, which that's when they said I can expect like my full recovery. Very excited. I would only say that I'm like really grateful for all the people here because they really took extra time to like work with me. And when I wanted to push harder, they went there with me. And I never felt like scared or had anxiety or anything. Like it was the first time that like I've gone through all of this and I felt like someone understood and like there's something so special to that because no one had seen me or understood what I was going through. And finally somebody did. And the coolest thing is like, there's probably like 8 to 10 people here that were patients here first and now work here and help you. So who knows better what to expect and what you're going through than people who are patients here that are now helping you through these activities. So that was like special to me that they liked it so much they came back here, you know? So thank you. That's what I want to say. Thank you. You have to want the change. And I tell you, I believed in it, and like, you are worth it. Like, you're worth it. No one deserves to live at a 20% quality of who they used to be. And I know that's how I felt. And I am looking forward to like getting back to my life. Like, I could have my life back, and I've saw proof that things are starting to fire and work. And now it's like up to me to continue to do the work, which is worth it. And I think like, if you're feeling that way and you're confused, like, what do you have to lose, you know? It's like, you're worth it. Nothing is more important than your health and your brain. You need your brain.